Did you know that you don't need thousands of views to monetize and make money from your podcast? So in this episode, we're going to look at the 7 main ways that you can monetize your podcast. Okay, so first of all, no matter which way you spin it, monetization is a process that takes lots of effort and time on your part. Whether it's recording the episodes, reaching out to sponsors, whatever it might be, there is no easy, short way to get monetization. It will involve talking to people, reaching out to people, and putting the effort into making high quality content. But let's break it down. If you're motivated and you're passionate about podcasting, or you've got a really important message to share, these are some ways that you could look into it. Obviously, some of these methods are going to contain certain thresholds that you need to reach in order to be able to do it, but there are some methods that you can do right now, today, even before you've pressed record. So let's get into it. Now, these can take many forms. So one way to do it is to reach out to someone, get someone to sponsor your show. So say I'm doing a podcast, right? I might want a microphone brand or a camera brand to sponsor me so that I can promote their goods and get money from that, okay? So what I would then have to do is record some sort of advert, so some sort of call to action, put that into my episode, and then, negotiate a fee with the sponsor in order to get money for each episode. We've had some podcasters that have done this negotiation before their kind of podcast even goes live. So for example, we had a podcast that did, say, 10 episodes for a season, and they got sponsored by a brand to produce the season. Obviously, in order to do that, you need good relationships with people with money before you start making a podcast. Otherwise, the other way to do it is to start a podcast, get your name out there, start producing episodes, get a following, and then use that following and those statistics to kind of pitch to a sponsor and get them to sponsor you that way. So I could go to a sponsor and say, hey, I've got a podcast. We're about 15 episodes deep. These are our viewership models. These are everyone that's seeing what we're doing. These are maybe our geo demographics, so where they're coming from, what platforms they're on, that kind of thing. This is our overall reach on social media. Please sponsor us, and then you can negotiate a fee. Another way of adding sponsorships or ads to your podcast is by meeting YouTube and TikTok and all of that and all of their ad kind of thresholds, if you like. So if you go onto the monetized section of YouTube, there are thresholds that are constantly evolving and changing in order to become eligible for adverts on your podcast. So, if you hit that threshold and you've created a good foundation in your podcast and you get plenty of viewers, look into those tools to see how you can add adverts into your show. Obviously, these adverts are then random and they come in at random points unless you set points in your video. So do be mindful that you might get any advert sponsoring your content. But obviously then you will get money through the revenue streams of YouTube itself, and it will go straight in through your channel and you can see it on the analytics page. If you're using a platform like Omni Studio or any similar podcasting platform for audio or video, you can insert dynamic adverts into your show. Now, I will do a separate episode on dynamic adverts, but essentially what you can do is within your hosting platform, there's an option to toggle adverts in and out of your show. So say someone sponsors you for a certain amount of time, maybe a couple of months, but then they pull the sponsorship for whatever reason, or you swap the advert out for something else. There is a system within these hosting platforms that allow you to go in and add and remove adverts without actually editing the episode itself. This can come in really handy if you want to renegotiate or change or whatever without spending ages re-editing every episode. So you want to start a podcast, but you don't know how. First of all, like and subscribe and have a look around the channel. There's lots of useful videos to help you on your way to starting, scaling, and thriving in your podcast career. Also, did you know that we run a 3-day event over here in Peterborough called the Podcast Profit System? Come join us in a room of like-minded individuals, meet the progressive team, learn how we do things, and there's a free lunch thrown in as well. All right, let's get back to the video. A slightly easier way of getting sponsorships in your show is to be an affiliate with a brand. Lots of brands offer affiliate links that you can add into your show notes or in the description or in the video itself, wherever it might be, that essentially just links on to either a product page or a website where people can go and buy specific goods. Say I was reviewing a microphone here and I had a sponsorship from a brand, I could then send you on to a website to buy the microphone from the company. If someone does go along and do that, I will then get a small cut of the price they paid for the microphone. So affiliate marketing can be kind of a low, kind of easy way to get bits and dribs and drabs of money here and there. But depending on your platform, depending on who's seeing it, depending on whether the audience is niche and invested in all of that, you might get a poor return from it if the product isn't aligned with your show. So I can't go selling random stuff. I have to pick things that are suitable and related to podcasting. So cameras, microphones, cables, stuff like that. But get creative. Another way to monetize your platform is to get listeners to donate or to tip you money. There are many platforms out there like Buy Me a Coffee and things like that where people can just tip or donate to your show. YouTube even now has built-in systems. Granted, you have to meet certain thresholds within the platform, but people can simply just send you money through the comments, which is fantastic. Obviously, then you need to just make sure that you have people that are willing to give you money. It's kind of a weird thing you obviously don't ask for it, but if you provide good enough content that people want to support or get behind, people might find a way to just tip you a couple of pounds through these different platforms. So it wouldn't hurt to perhaps set one up so that if people find you in years' time, they can just go to the description and add or donate a little bit here and there. YouTube also offers memberships. So again, as you meet a certain threshold, it's not as much as kind of the advert side of things. So it's a little bit of a low, I think it might be about 500 subscribers. Once you hit this threshold, YouTube will unlock the membership side of things. This is where people can pay a predetermined amount of money to kind of be a member to your channel. Then the key is to make sure that you are giving them lots of extra content. So something I suggest with some of my clients is that they might say they record an episode, they then trim it down to the best bits, or they create an editorialized version of the show. That's the show that goes out to everyone. And then members can access the full unedited version of the show, just for a couple of pounds a month. You might also then do maybe once a month, do a live stream for them or a one-off video, just to kind of drip feed additional content to them to make sure that they remain a member and that they feel like it's worth it. Obviously, the key with memberships is to make sure that you shout about it. Obviously, they're not going to become a member if you don't tell them that there's a membership available to them. So put it in the show notes, create a call to action in your show, let them know that it's there, and tell them all the amazing extra content that you can give them. Another way that you can monetize your show is to sell digital products. If you have a PDF, a PowerPoint, a little lesson that you can teach, something like that, try and sell it with your podcast. So create a link where people can go to a little web front, it's kind of a web store, and buy this document from you. Obviously, once you've made it once, you never have to make it again. So it might be worth re-editing something into a bit of a course or creating a little PDF that maybe I do something that's outlining how to generate ideas for a podcast, or maybe this episode could be in the form of a PDF that I can then send out to people for a little bit of money. So make sure that you have something that people will want, and then make sure that you know how to be able to promote it so that you can sell it. Another thing that you can do, and this isn't necessarily monetization, is with whatever you've created, be it a PDF or a video or whatever. Obviously, once you've created it, it's there forever, but you could offer it out for free, providing that they give you an email address or, sign up for something. It could become part of your funnel that leads on to bigger high-ticket items like the next thing, which is coaching. So if you've got a podcast that's maybe a bit educational or really frames you as a specialist in a certain subject, like for me, podcasting, for example, you might want to sell yourself. So create a course where you are educating people and then get people to sign on and pay for that. Now, this doesn't have to be a structured course that you spend hours putting together. You could simply sell one-to-one time over Zoom, over Riverside, over something like that. We have clients that before they even launched or during their launch, they would sell one-to-one time with themselves to talk through how to grow businesses, to talk about their niche, things like that. And if you come across like a professional, which hopefully I do, people will see you as a valuable source of information and they might want to have one-on-one time with you. Obviously, then you can charge a fee, whatever that might be, for like an hourly rate or a set rate, depending on whatever. And then you could have them like paying over months and things like that. Just think about how you might structure it. But consider one-to-one coaching. And again, it doesn't have to be something that you construct over time. It could simply be a meeting. Obviously, with this one, remember, you've still got to mention it in your show. So create a call to action, put it in the show notes, mention it at every opportunity you get. People won't pay for stuff if you don't tell them to. Another way to monetize your show is merch. Now, this can be quite an expensive upfront cost. And obviously, if you don't have a really big brand or a good enough branding or anything like that, it could be a bit of a dud one for you. But we've had podcasts where they've come with branded mugs, branded t-shirts, things like that. Obviously, it's a bit of a joke, so, you know, make a bit of a joke out of it. Try and get people to do it, wear it to your own show. Maybe I should make a Podcasters Podcast t-shirt or a hat or something. But yeah, merch could be an option for you. Obviously, then you'd have to bulk order it and design it and order it in and then ship it out and manage how that's run, whether it's automated through a service or whether you do it yourself. But it might be something to consider, especially if you've got something that might lend itself to that type of monetization. The last thing you can do to monetize your podcast is to sell events. So again, if you're doing more of an educational or maybe an entertainment thing, why not make an event of it? So do it live in a room, invite people to it, do it on a stage. You've seen things like this, obviously, with the stuff that we run in Peterborough. You can come to events where you can see people on stage. I do an event here called PPS, where we do 3 days of podcast training. But think about things like Off the Menu. That's an entertainment podcast, and they do a live tour where they take it to theaters around the UK and they sell seats. They get people in the room. Obviously, then you could think about how you might want to sell at those events. Maybe you have a consulting course that we spoke about earlier that ties into all of this. And then you create an entire network and kind of ecosystem around your podcast. But I'll always find that the best business deals happen in person. So if you can find a way of getting your audience in a room together, talking, embracing kind of the world that you've created, then that is a brilliant way to monetize your podcast. Obviously, this won't come day one. It's something that you can aspire to do once you've got a couple of thousand followers under your belt, but it's a fantastic way to get people together and to celebrate the thing that you've made. So consider where you are at in your podcasting journey and consider what you might be able to implement at the point that you are in to monetize your show. Is it coming up with some one-to-one consultancy time? That's something that you can do before you've even launched your show. Is it doing something like low-level memberships or affiliate links? That's something that you can do when you're just starting and getting a couple of subscribers under your belt. Or is it something grander scale, like an event or something big, merchandise to sell your brand? Really think about where you're at and what you can implement. And if you need any help doing it, then do get in touch with Disruptive Media. We can help you along your podcasting journey. Thank you for tuning in. I've been Louie from the Podcasters Podcast, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.